What is up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. Of course, you're hanging out with
the realest OG in the building right here.
and myself, Haron. So this is our spot. First of all, I think we should just thank everyone for, first of all, taking the time to just interact with our content, for watching us this far. If you're new here, please consider just going through whatever content we've already created. We are working on building a huge library that will be a resource to everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Karibuni tena. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Kininji.
Yeah.
You want to take us off kidogo ama?
I think first of all, how have you been, Bena? Like it's been a minute now.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But hey, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Unajua, guys here just see us weekly, see ndio labda.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I've been good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just pushing on with life, just same old, trying to make myself better, trying to make my life better. How about you?
I've been on the grind.
so much to do, so little time. Aya, kumbe ulikuwa prepared. Nimeingia huko.
I was really waiting for that your part yani. All week yani nimekuwa nikichill tu niulize swali.
Very good to hear.
I'm good. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to be here, happy to to be doing yet another episode. Happy to join the fans as well. They've been quite supportive, this far. Mm-hmm. And we are really appreciative of that. Mm-hmm. And we hope that we are going to walk this journey together as we, do more episodes and just, engage in more conversations as we move on. Mm-hmm. So that's it. So I think today we are doing part 2 of being a man. There's an last episode we did of being a man, but we didn't quite exhaust it. I actually don't even think, even with this second episode, that we're going to
exhaust
everything.
The entire subject.
Yeah, but we'll just try to just cover everything, in as best as we can. Mm-hmm. And maybe we can still engage more on the comments and elsewhere, and maybe even in future we'll still like do another
episode. Probably with the engagement and as the thought process keeps on growing.
So if you haven't watched the first part, you need to do that by the right now. Yeah, the link should be somewhere in the description below. Just go watch it, so that you can be up to date with what we are talking about in this episode.
Yes. You can see the definitions that we had shared and the discussion as it had gotten so far.
Yeah, for sure. So today we're just continuing that conversation of what it means to be a man.
Very true. Very true.
And today what we want to do is look at toxic masculinity. We want to look at how the role of a man has changed over the years. And is this gender equality, is it a zero-sum game? Does it mean that if we fight for women's rights, then we are taking away from the men? If we fight for the men's rights, we're taking away from the women, like all that. And I think we'll just touch a bit about fatherhood kidogo, but we won't delve into that much. We'll do that in another episode.
All very interesting topics.
I
like as you're mentioning them, zinagusa and like it should also be a topic on its own. So very interesting. You think we should start with toxic masculinity?
So what is that, by the way? What does that mean? For someone who doesn't know what that means.
Okay. As far as a definition is concerned, what I can say about it, let me refer to my own terms, because nikianza kusema it must be, I know someone will be like, no, but there's this comma you forgot in that definition. But from the way I've understood it and contextually how people use it, more or less it is a trait, of course in men, because it's toxic masculinity, a trait in men that does not more or less allow them to do certain things, or it's usually considered as a negative trait but it's more or less a trait that does not allow them to do certain things. So I remember in the discussion we were having, what are some of the things that you wouldn't do as a man? And eventually when you walk into that conversation and you start saying, this is what I wouldn't do, toxic masculinity, I think already able to share was toxic masculinity.
But for me I think even as we were discussing some of those things, I was like, but then no, that is equal toxic masculinity. For instance, what we were saying, if I have a chile and then we're walking down the street, and she asks me to carry her handbag.
Oh, she has to ask you to carry her handbag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, manze mtakaje kwa street nikibeba handbag ya dem, like manze mi siwezi do stuff, unaona. So I'm like, okay, bebe eruni ambia ni bebe mzigo gunia simiti ama mawaru, like ni sweat yangu yote, but si handbag. Unajua like handbags are ni simple, it's something you can carry, no stress. But me, the fact that people, I think, and I think that's the problem, that we really care a lot about how people
perceive think of us.
So we are like, especially as Africans, we are like, I see, like wasi wangu kina na handbag na venye wujua mimi uji, like mimi ndio ule mse, like unasemaje
kwanza kona ya mwisho ndio pale memory ana hands out cup,
alafu baadhi ile kona mnapitia, like niko na memory wako hapa imetulia ndio na handbag, like
so sorry, let me just, for you toxic masculinity haiwezi kukubalia ubebe handbag.
Okay, me I don't even think it's about toxic masculinity. Okay, it's about who I am. I really don't think. What? I'm trying, like, even that image of me carrying a handbag, my mama is walking like next to me, like in a sound to
equal.
I can't, like, that image is it's like it's difficult for me to like fathom that thing. I make sense as in high form, cause I'm like mbona niambie nikubebe like everything else, mashida zako zote za life nitakubebea, like in the handbag jibebe tu.
But what is it about this handbag? Okay, acha tuangalie, cause if you look at it, vile umesema tu, acha heri tubebe cash crops za Nyandarua,
tubebe mawaru,
heri tubebe cash crops za Nyandarua. So tuseme this specific day hizo cash crops hakukuwa na mahali ingine ya kuweka, the only place to put them was in that handbag. In that scenario, do you carry that handbag?
We'll buy a paper bag, we'll put them in that paper bag, nitazibeba. The mama will beba the handbag. Like, as in the issue is the handbag. Like basically mwanaume amebeba kichunaka hivi, like zizi for me. But from this discussion I feel like wewe ni kama wewe beba handbag by the way.
I mean a beba. It's my sister.
We are done. Baby cut. Me I'm done with it. You guys, like what do you mean?
Mimi kwanza nikiangalia na guy hii kitu inakaa kumchosha, be like wewe ulata nikusaidie kubeba, cause my
in fact ni wewe una offer, like unamwambia apatie.
You see now in the conversation I was shocked ati lazima uulize ubebe. Wait a minute.
In fact ni ananiuliza
ati suni bebe ni.
In fact the fact that ananiuliza like niko offended, like what do you mean? Nikubebe handbag, like hii ni kitu yako, just jibebe, like just handle your career, so me the fact that you're the one offering to buy this handbag and see that it's heavy, the mama can actually do it, she has the need to do it, but you're like, hey, you're so romantic, no, this one of these out of earth guys, like, hey, okay sir,
wait a minute, okay,
but then you ndo mnasomea honestly.
No hapana, let me say this, let me correct that statement kidogo. Siati, it's not as I mentioned, for me it's not it's not about being romantic, or more or less as we are walking nitakuwa mconsiderate, nitaangalia nini.
So let me ask you if you're walking down the street and then maybe mmetoka Ocha, let's say I'm na gari, like mmepanda mat, mmekuja mmeshikishwa stage, and then Ocha, so unajua watu Ocha upenda kupatia watu like vitu mawaru nini, so umepoa kibag kia mawaru kimejaa hivi, and then mnatembea down the street, so like umebeba kibag hivi.
Yeah, nimebeba bag. Okay.
As in una imagine mama wako akikwambia hey baby, you guy unaona niko umechoka sana, hebu nipatie bag nikubebe. Like it can't happen.
For here it
hasn't happen. It won't happen.
Very true. Because nikigunia it's physically it's but
and because it's physically it's huge, eh? You as the man, you're expected to carry that load. Sindio?
Okay.
Yeah. So you're carrying that
yes
load.
No,
But on the other hand, for her, handbag, like it's actually weightless. Like honestly, like just hata ukishika tu na kidole moja hivi ushainua.
What I'll say is, okay, for your example ya kigunia kiamawaru hizo whatever, of course hapo nitasemacha niangane nayo kwa nyumba.
So even if she offers to carry it for you, you're like hey mama, let me just do it.
But there are scenarios where nimebeba bag probably ya kazi, it's not as heavy as kigunia kiawaru, and whoever I'm working with, whether it's my mom or my sister or whatever, atakuwa like hey unakabedhe umechoka suni unisaidie wacha nikusaidie kubeba, and they'll be like that. So for me that's an experience I have. Guys, I would just also share
because umetoka masama wapi, like wewe si mswa hapo. Guys, I think this is not human by the this is
but let's talk about something else because hapo hapa naona ni kama hii bag.
Let me ask
I didn't know it's that deep.
That bags basi something like unatembea tu kwa street tao, and then your mama is the touchy kind that they just want you to be like holding hands all over the place, you're just hugging whatever, you're kissing, stuff like that. So
kazoze, my friend,
like you just flow with it.
Kazoze
yeah,
kushikilia na mkono,
like honestly with it situmalize tu episode 2 hapa sasa. But then me I'm discover things about you that I never think you imagine, baby. Like my brain can't handle this.
But okay, for me, I think the approach I take, the outlook I take is I'd be willing. Okay, si ati nitasema ati I'll stop at this point. Nasema kama uko na confidence, it's okay. Pia mimi niko nayo. If I don't do it today, we do it tomorrow. Unaelewa? Cause I don't know. Tuseme for example, now let's take that scenario that you're saying that mmetaka kushikana mkono. Probably love language ya mama is what's it called?
Touch,
is touch, eh?
Yeah.
So mi ni mnyima mapenzi ati juu tu kuna watu tunapitana nao tao, my friend.
Like sawa nampatia mapenzi ya kumshika mkono and whatever at the expense of me, by that is not my thing. Like me seems so I think it's a tough career to like balance.
It's a tough discussion.
Because like if for her that is what she enjoys, like ile kushikana.
Yeah, if love language.
Kwa na madem kao.
Yes.
I'm sure baby like umedate madem kadhaa, like kuna wale madem wanahonga so touchy, like every other time they're like all over you, mkienda sijui wapi uko like hey baby relax kidogo, like acha hapa like kuna mamuri hapa just tulia kiasi moja. So for me I think tunaweza strike balance because personally I am not big on the PDA career, like okay. Also, if we actually need to hold hands, if we need to, like we absolutely have to, and then we'll do it. But see ati tunatembea tu kwa street TV, every street tumeshikana tu mkono, like
mpaka mko hapo audion vile
kumeshikana, watu wanapita katikati yenu wanakata mikono, lakini bado umeshikilia tu hivi like manze me by the for me that one
also if I may ask, let me ask
even before you ask your question,
not a problem.
Personally I don't believe that for me to express my love to you, like lazima ikuwe like tushikane mikono, like by then naweza kuwa nakupenda yangu yote but maybe siko comfortable na hiyo like PDA and whatever, like we just chill, relax, we go home, we do our our career, but like that's that's me baby. So but kuna say yes wako comfortable like wewe. Like what I'm learning right now, you're very comfortable with doing that, which is a very huge shock. Baby, I'm very learning things about you that I never.
What I'll say is, immediately I might be resistant, but part of me is about also just learning the person I'm interacting with, because for me, essentially, I don't care about it, unaelewa? But I'll be keen to find out, okay, is it important for you that we hold hands? Because for me, we don't hold hands as long as unaget. See at any place, what umekanyaga line at unaget. So I'll be like, okay, let's try it. Probably the first time kutakuwa nako kainashi ama ako ka naogopa kuingia kwa maji, but eventually I'll get into the water as far as that entire example is concerned. But what I was very interested to find out from you was your trait yenye ume mention that you're not very comfortable ama you're not okay with your public display of affection. For you, do you think it's more or less as in something that is from within you, or is it a characteristic of being a man?
I think
if you just look into yourself,
I would also attribute it to like our African setting, like how we've been brought up. Like men, like we don't just display our emotions like to
so it's about being a man.
It's about being a man. So as in see ati nishinde hapo ati bele unideme yangu like as in unajua. So that plays a role, like the way like nime come up, nime grow, whatever. But I still go back to my previous point. Me holding your hand doesn't necessarily mean that I love you. It's not a reflection of my love for you.
My love for you. Okay.
I can hold hands with anyone. Like even someone nimepata tu na yeye tu leo. Like ndamshika mkono tutembee na yeye. Like but it doesn't necessarily translate to what I'm feeling for them.
Yeah, very true.
So for me, that one, it shouldn't be like a factor in determining or otherwise a factor in like inakuonyesha ati wewe that mimi nakupenda unajua like so ufai ku concentrate so much on that. But moving away from that, let me ask you so mta umechilewa na mama whatever, like unaweza fanya, and I know this one is a tough one, but unaweza fanya nini? Unaweza fanya like kupika nini hizo chores za hao stuff like that. funny enough, even before you answer it,
you already
based know? On what umeanswer hizo questions zingine mbili najua tu mseme then yeye atakusema.
The short answer is yes. For me, by the way, okay, I think it also circles back to now some of your responses, because ukiangalia pia me, partly my background, the way we're being raised in our family, hizo stories ati sijui madem kupika, maboy wanafaa unahakikisha mlango ati sijui umeendea maji sijui unaelewa hizo vitu mzito. It wasn't that clear cut. For us ilikuwa a roster that has a list.
Really?
So jina yako ikiland mahali ni unafanya. So if it's mopping, my friend, wewe na hiyo wanaume yako yote back in the day
clearly that is not Kenya. Yes, Kenya.
I think okay, partly I really appreciate my parents for just okay, whatever they did to ensure that was happening within our household, because ukiangalia now from campus till now, ukiwa hapo ka bachelor, life gets very tough if you don't know hizo vitu za ati mambo ya kupika, mambo ya kufanya nini. So it really came in handy for me. And as at now, I wouldn't immediately just go to the kitchen and now, because kuna hiyo portion ya I think naeza attribute to toxic masculinity or kukua mwanaume, I wouldn't immediately go to the kitchen, but it's something I can definitely do. Kama ni ingia kitchen kuosha vyombo, kama ni mop nyumba, those are things as in if today mama disappear too and nothing is moving in the house, I know
you'll step up.
Yeah, I'll step up. Hizo kuosha. So short answer is yes, but lazima ni feel kuna ile I need to feel like I want to do it, because unaona kuna vitu zingine tu as in pia ukifanya to some extent you feel like I can be doing something else.
So if for example kuna mama kwa hao whatever mnakaa naye pamoja and then every other night unamwambia relax, like I got this, like nitapika, nitaosha vyombo, nitaosha nguo, kila kitu. I'm trying to think like how would she take it, like cause so if you do it once, like
once in a while
then it's okay, but if every now and then you're like but the iniachie like ini territory yangu, kitchen, bafu, shower, manguo niachie, mimi nitasort hizo story.
For me, okay, now again with my experience, ukiangalia most of the relationships I've had, early on I am usually the one, because mi ni mtu mambo ya usafi na hizo vitu za I like the way my house is, I want it to stay this way. So ukiangalia more or less a portion of the early stages of most of the relationships I've had, I have been the one who's been doing that, because to say, for example, let's take.
I feel like the rest just Miss Kujui, like honestly, like revelations.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Here's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I thought I knew you, but honestly, I didn't.
Unaona?
Who are you?
Wait a minute. Yeah, let me give you. Let me give you the background of it all. Probably we're early on in the relationship, niyo mambo ya sijui courtship na tembeleana and all that. Unaona, as you're inviting mama and whatnot, hawezi mu-expect akuje na ajue vile kiti yako inafaa ikae, ajue vile una cleaning carpet, probably the carpet you have is not the same one she has. I would expect sijui aende aoshe vyombo na apange nyumba. Na mi, okay, with me, as in, okay, historically and all that, vitu kama nguo peke yake ndio tulikuwa tuna outsource, unasema that one can be washed by someone, ama we do whatever, take it to laundry. Hizo vitu zote zingine, you're saying that for you, you're waiting for mama akuje, na probably it's a fresh relationship, mmepatana tu. So as in aingie na aanze job immediately.
Okay, me like kituka nguo usually you actually hata wale madem wote nimedate
lazima chore
saba kisabakangi wachore saba mimi waambia like hiyo acha nitaita msia kujaosha. But kituka kupika food hiyo by the. And then funny thing by the for people who know me, me I'm a fan
of refer to audience. People who know him.
Me I'm a fan of home.
Also, let's take some time to just fact check him. If he's lying to us, guys, please ambush that comment section.
I'm not lying. I'm sure guys can confirm that. For people who know me, I'm a fan of home cooked meals. Yeah. So like na prefer like food imepiko home. So me prefer like.
It's just that the cooking is not you. Ama water picker.
No, like sijui me enjoy it more. When someone else has made that meal and someone else has made it with love and affection and all that kirea
yenye mpaka akishakuwekea ukishaonja ama start anakuuliza how is it.
Exactly. And then I think it part of the reason is also that I am a terrible cook. Like I suck by the way when it comes to cooking.
It shows it.
Yeah. So
kumbe ni sababu hujui kisu ni ya kufanyia nini na mwiko inaenda wapi.
So me by the way, like when it comes to the kitchen, like I can't find my way around the kitchen. Okay. But I enjoy people that cook well, enjoy good food.
The fact that probably you don't know your way around the kitchen, would you say that it is out of a lack of interest as a person that for you kitchen unaona kama mimi nasemanga mimi story ya jembe mi bora nipate mahindi nichome, it's fine. Would you for you say that it's lack of interest as a person, or would you attribute it to you being raised as a man? It can lead to
the latter, like me being raised as a cause we grew up just me and my mom, so like for her she like did everything for me, so even cooking whatever, like she, because we had neighbors like kulikuwa na similarly grown up and then mko kwa field mnacheza futa and then unasikia mse like nafaninde nichangamke like nipike food ama ni buy stuff like that. So for me
pia ama ilikuwa madem
what by the so for me mimi alikuwa tu sana like
does the cooking everything unapata kile kitu
mimi napata tu kile kitu sana
hata saa ile unatolewa kwa meza
like if atafanya hiyo kazi yote ya kuleta everything hapa kutoa sahani kwa meza ndio itamshinda. So like for me my mom basically just did everything for me, and I'm not see it in a complain ama everything ama anything, but yeah like I think hiyo ndio like imefanya nikuwa na hiyo lack of experience when it comes to but personally I believe that you can learn anything that you want.
You can learn
regardless
but for
of whatever age
now,
even now because right now I'm getting a bit interested in starting to just prepare my own meals and whatever, so right now like nataka like kuanza kufanya hizo stuff, so it's not something I can do. I'll do it because if for example I don't have someone in the house, I don't have a sister, I don't have my mother, I don't have a guy like you who likes cooking
who gonna bites my friend.
If I don't have someone like you, like so will I sleep hungry? And for example like maybe ara like hakuna like place imefunguliwa like kila place imefunga, will I sleep hungry? No. Like and you have like items here you can prepare food using, so yeah you just go there, just whip a nice meal like haraka and then just eat na ulale na kesho muamke.
I think it's very interesting hizo experiences tumeshare because it more or less points out that society or our environments played a major role in whatever beliefs we have now and whatever I consider as toxic masculinity versus what you consider as toxic masculinity. But it's also interesting that you say that pahali tumefika sahi you can still learn hata ukiwa how old
maybe that is a belief I've held like for a long time, like you can still learn, like the human being is one machine that can learn any skill that they want to learn,
as long as you put your mind to it
you can learn anything at whatever age that you are you as in hakuna kitu wezi learn, that one I'm sure.
Okay.
So, but I think moving on from your story at toxic masculinity, what are some of the perspectives I think they may change in as far as being a man is concerned?
Okay, for me, my definition of a man imetoka from the societal definition kitambo. Kama ilikuwa are they called estuaries? Kama ini river, and that's an estuary. Hiyo estuary ilitoka mapema kabisa. Watu wa geography, please correct me if I'm wrong. It veered off kitambo because most as we mentioned in the last episode that the definition we have of a man now is a definition that was being used eons ago, that someone has to be a provider, and as we've mentioned already, you'll find women or ladies who are even earning more than men currently. So what happens in such relationships? Do you stop calling yourself a man? But some of the perspectives for me, it's mentally for me it's actually very fluid, that it's less about being a man and more being able to I don't know how to put it in words, but let me just attempt figuring out your situation and learning how to operate in that situation. Because for me, I have found that if I start identifying myself as a man with the definitions that we've already outlined and all that, I end up operating at a deficit. I'm operating at a loss by default, because now, because I'm a man, I have to to do this. So I don't know what examples I can use in that scenario, but more or less, for me it's just okay, kama ni gender imeanzia hapa imeishia hapa, not very important for my context. This is what I will decide to do, because with my experience and the knowledge I have, it has served me well to operate in this way. I don't know if that answers your question. And for you, for
me, I think some of the perspectives that they may change, me, the fact that nowadays, and I'm sure there are a lot of studies that have been done that show that a lot of the children being born and raised in, let's say even in this country right now, they're being raised by single parents. So the men are nowhere to be seen.
It's men mostly,
the men are nowhere to be seen. So it's the woman who raises who raises their kid, and now they have to play that role of the mother and the father at the same time. So they are providing for this kid. They are providing security as well for this kid. They are providing like guidance, counseling, like everything for this kid. So the roles that initially or a few years back men used to play, in as far as raising their kids was concerned, it's now the women who are filling that void because the men are not there. So I think and women have realized that we really don't need that. We don't.
It's very interesting.
We probably don't even need that guy to raise his kid. We can like do it on our own. We can manage, because the guy is MIA. So what do we do? Do we just sit down waiting for some random guy to come and just save the day for us? No, we have to survive. We have to like keep grinding and whatever. So I think the perspective that has changed is, like women have been forced or have been pushed to that level where they have to step in for the absentee men or fathers. If you ask me, I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. Is it sad? Yes, it's sad, because I personally I'd prefer if both figures were present
in the kid's life,
the kid's life and whatever, because it even the presence of the father plays a big role in
more or less building a healthy and of course
so other perspectives maybe like I think your story, toxic masculinity, imekuwa a bit toned down in the sense that nowadays if you walk through Tao, you'll see like men like you carrying women's handbags everywhere. Men nowadays they are cooking like crazy. They are doing house chores. Men are doing that like everywhere. So like it may move from that. And if for example you go to a household and you find a man doing that,
it's not shocking.
It's not shocking. Like 20-30 years before,
you'd be like guy,
what is this guy doing?
He knows how to hold a knife.
Actually, okay. And he's not like killing someone or a thug or whatever. He's like chopping.
He's not using the knife for defense.
He's chopping like onions and whatever. So Jesus. You're like, but this is magic. But nowadays we've moved away from that. So men will do that. Men will take care of their kids. Men will change diapers. So I think those are some of the things that have changed in as far as
there's a point you had mentioned on now the father figure in the household in situations where single moms are involved. Do you think that because I would assume that as a kid as a boy, growing up, either way, even if a mom is there, I would still need a father figure or in my life. Do you think that role of the father figure now is forwarded to the next closest relative or individual in the house? Like, for example,
uncles, which includes uncles, like grandfathers, whatever. Like, yeah, of course, that is automatically passed on
is reduced
to those guys. Yeah.
Okay.
So like the if a lady is, like, is a single mother, the guy just disappeared. So of course the closest let's say father figure that this maybe young boy or young girl has is the brothers to this mother, or the father to the mother,
or whoever closest,
or whoever,
male individual
or,
that child will be able to relate to.
So that is maybe the person that this child is looking up to as a role model when it comes to a father figure.
And so do you think now the perspective of that child, if the child was a boy, now the perspectives as far as now a man is concerned, or a male figure is concerned, wacha tuseme man specifically, do you think now it changes in comparison to someone who has been raised in a family where the the roles of the father have been clearly defined and the roles of a mother have been clear?
I think because if you're raised, your mother has raised you, and you don't know who your father is, and the closest father figure that you have is your uncle. It's I think quite tricky, because like, even because fathers, by by what I know, by what I believe, is fathers, there are those lessons, those things that fathers are supposed to instill
in kids,
in
their
own kids.
Some need to be
so in this kid, even as they are growing up, they still know that this is not my father, like, this is my uncle, this is my grandfather. So like, at the back of their mind, they know that my father is MIA, so this is my uncle stepping in. So it that thing, it
changes slightly the perspective.
It does. And it's difficult to like pinpoint exactly, but still you can't compare that to someone who's been raised by a father who's been present the whole time, and the father who's always been there, every night, every day. They're there during school events, whatever, stuff like that. So because the uncle, I'm assuming the uncle also has a family on the other side, and they have their responsibility to their main family. So even their presence in this
will
other
be
side,
short-lived and will be limited.
Would be very limited. So even like the impact that their presence has on this kid, it's you can't compare it to a father who's always there. So for me, I think but I think each topic ya fatherhood, we need to discuss it further.
We really need to, because that
each topic ya fatherhood, we need to discuss it further.
No funny.
Anyway.
Okay. So, we really need to. I think we'll just now that's a different topic that we'll address in a different episode. But for now, tunaendelea na sasa, as we are looking at the entire topic of being a man. We've now addressed at least toxic masculinity. Kuna vitu zingine tu ina depend na background. We've also addressed, what else have we addressed?
Like perspectives may change when it comes to being a man. But I'm also curious, like, do you think men are becoming soft? The 21st century man.
The short and long answer for me is yes. Yes, but I would say it, in my opinion, and from what I'm seeing, it's inevitable. Because as you can see, I'll just keep on referring to the giants we are standing on. Ukiangalia men in the 1800s, hao ni watu literally, okay, we are going back before, let's not even talk about 1800s, before that, before the industrial revolution.
They had to fight lions.
Mulikuwa mnakimbizana na wildebeest ndio watoto wakule. hao ndio sasa watu wenye wanafaa waseme hao ndio wanafaa waseme hao ndio mwanaume ni kuparara na kunyuka jasho. Sahi, if you're looking at any man who has done hunting within their lifetime, probably they're doing it as a sport or as unaelewa, just passing time as a hobby or whatnot. And it's something that they have to be very intent on doing. So as in with how society has changed, life has gotten easier. There are no challenges okay, I don't want to say there are no challenges, of course there are, but it's not as it was before. You were required to be stern, you were required to be very as in back then you had to asubuhi kiamka lazima uamke mapema so that you can
you go fight alone kwanza. For the wildebeest, you both of you are fighting for the same wildebeest.
Today it's about waking up in the morning, again kukalia machine, just going to
nice office somewhere,
very pretty office, unapata imesafishwa, you're sitting down, by the time you're going for break tena inasafishwa tena so that you can come back after lunch. As in that's the difference of the definition the man we're working with. Back then it was real that they needed to do this to even survive. Now you don't need these things. So just that tangent off of how it was before means that automatically men are very soft. And if our ancestors came here today, are this men?
So you're saying right now for men, like initially, like for men it was, you need to be like muscular, like
we wouldn't survive. When we wouldn't survive.
Maybe that survived. For you, just speak for yourself.
Okay. Personally, let me say honestly,
like
with the lifestyle I'm living now, survive.
So back then it was more of like muscle as opposed to. So right now it's more of
exactly.
So back then it was more Darwinian. Right now we are more.
It was muscle than brain. Yes. Now it's more brain than muscle. Okay. Very true. Nakwambia hizi I'm telling you. Okay,
so let me ask, do women need the men anymore right now?
Very interesting question, and the answer is yes.
They can do everything. They can. What do I need a man for? If as a woman, like I can raise my kid, I can take them to school, I can pay their fees, I can do everything for them. So why do I need a man?
Shida mahali, you just make a call, transaction, make payments, and it's sorted and all that.
I'm good. Plus, I'm earning good money. Why do I need a man to raise my kid? Why?
For me, it's first of all, just because we are social beings. I would say we need each other. I wouldn't straight ahead. I wouldn't just say that women need men, but I would say we need each other. First of all, because we are social beings. We all know that kika peke yako, chances are going crazy, very high.
Very high.
So as social beings, that interaction just helps in this lonely world, in this all that considered. Then number two, even though we are really trying to veer off the societal definition of a man or what it means to be a man and all that, the society still has a major role. It has a lot of influence in the way we think, in the way we interact. And one of the things that still it demands of us is that interaction and that relationship between a man and a woman. So before, I think if we are saying that, do we still need them? Do they still need us? The answer now is yes. But if we give it some more time, probably it will be no. But as I'm seeing it now, we still need each other.
But compared to if someone asked that question 200 years ago, the answer would have been a definite yes.
It would have been 100% yes. It would have
but right now, it's like they kind of need them. They kind of
yes.
not.
It's like, still a yes, but it's not as heavy as the 200 years ago. 200 years ago, yes. I would say Sai, it's still a yes, because again we interact and all that, And there's some things we can do, they can't do. There's some things that they can do, we can't do. I don't want to again go to that conversation yet.
Whatever men can do, women can do it better.
But essentially, again, just based on the demands of the society, on the requirements of the environment, yes, we still need each other.
That makes sense. But I'm also curious, when you look at the push for gender equality and the affirmative action movements that we've had over the years, is gender equality a zero-sum game in the sense that if we are pushing for the rights of women, inclusivity, bearing in mind, men, we've had like let me call it a 2,000 year head start towards life. Like men seem to tumekuwa like tukipewa kila kitu, and so women right now don't like who get a bit of room, and so is gender equality a zero-sum game? So if we are fighting for the rights of women, does it mean that we ultimately have to take away from men give to women? That's a very interesting question. Okay, before I answer it, now in my opinion again, I don't think that men have gotten a 2,000 or 200 year head start from women. I think more or less, just based on now the trajectory of now surviving and making life better and all that, it has the universe has conspired to put men forward. That said, I don't think that it's a zero-sum. I don't think it's a zero-sum game, because I do not necessarily have to take away from men to give to women. That's my opinion. If you look at most of the things that are being talked about as far as now gender equality, and now more or less these are things that we can do. These are things that we can do. And I agree that for some it's complicated. That if you take an example of football, I remember the presentation that was being shared was ukiangalia ladies football versus gents football. Gents were being paid, was it 100 times more than the best paid female,
more than the best paid female, and the gents weren't even being champions in whatever country that was. And essentially the math behind it was ukiangalia following the men, they have a lot of following, a lot of people come to watch in comparison to women, so essentially they're making a lot less money. But because of the differences that we are noting, because of those differences, I believe as a society there are some things that we can do to just reduce that gap. If we are smart enough to identify that there's a gap, it means that there's something we can do. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. That kama tumekaa chini na tukasema hapa, why is it this skewed? Doesn't make sense. There are some things that we can most definitely implement, so that even if you're saying that women's football doesn't have as much following as men, so essentially it's not bringing in as much money, we have the minds to ensure that. If it's not the minds to, immediately we can just channel something you get. It's sometimes it's, if you look at I was seeing an example online, and they were talking about equality and equity, right? Relax. Sina kitu kadogo. Okay, essentially, more or less they were saying, if you're talking about equity is not just giving someone the same, giving someone equal the same throughout. It's not just about giving it equally throughout. It's about assessing what are the requirements so that they're able to more or less deliver equally. It's getting your needs, getting my needs, and getting the next person's needs, and realizing that for them to be comfortable, Githinji might need 10x, the next person might need 15x, and I will need so that's what I think. I'm interested to also know what you think.
I also think it's not a zero-sum game in the sense that even as we fight for the rights of women, men do not have to lose. We just need to strike that balance. So it's not as if I'm championing the rights of women, then I'm campaigning against the rights for men.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like that. So even when I go out there and say, like, men are lagging behind in this certain area, then women should not, like, be up in arms and say that, hey, this guy is against women, anti-women, whatever. Like, no, I'm just outlining a certain area that I think men are lagging behind. So same case, if someone is going out there saying that women are lagging behind when it comes to, like, for example, even in campuses, like engineering courses, like, it shouldn't be like, hey, so you're saying, like, we should take away from men. No, we should just try and strike that balance, give people equal opportunity, let them decide for themselves what they want to do, and then we'll all be good. So yeah.
And it's not zero-sum.
It's not zero-sum.
Essentially,
it's not zero-sum.
I don't have to.
Most people think it's zero-sum, but it's not zero-sum. It's someone doesn't have to lose for someone else to gain. We can all gain. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a really good place to stop this conversation.
Yeah, true.
Again, we cannot. Hatuwezi
malizana na hii topic, and I think in future episodes we'll still come back, delve into the topic.
And we need to talk a bit more, because I'm also realizing pande ya wanaume hatuko tunajuana.
Hapo hata mimi baby, I was shocked baby. Hey, I thought I knew you, but you guy, I'm just
at least sahi tunajuana.
So I think in future episodes we need to have a lady on set,
or to get different perspectives.
Because right now we're just giving, like, male perspectives on these issues, and I'm sure, like, it will be very refreshing even for the viewers to just hear what our ladies would have to say about this topic of being a man. And I think that would be interesting.
It would be interesting to at least get someone. Not that our perspectives are not diverse, but of course the extra perspective wouldn't hurt. So that at least again, it's very interesting that you've mentioned that, and I think now that you've mentioned that, I'm slightly more enlightened.
Just to add some spice to the conversation.
Paka the spice, sasa.
sugar oil,
spice and everything.
So but I think up until then we've got to the end of today's conversation.
Yes.
On part 2 of being a man. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We'd like to hear your feedback down below. You can just leave a comment. If you enjoyed the conversation as well, you can just press that like button. If you liked it so much that essentially you loved it, you can just share the link with your friends and family, because like I really like saying we're trying to reach as many people as we can, and even whatever we are talking about, us guys we're talking about here, we're just sharing our own opinions. I'm sure there are so many different opinions out there and perspectives that we'd be interested in getting to know. So if you have an opinion about the subject that we just talked about, be sure to just reach out, let us know down below. Probably you have comments that could serve as topics that we can delve into and just have a conversation. Or also, again, as Kibinji is saying, you can share it with the parents, because it's a conversation that I'm sure will add more value to you the more people it reaches. If you're new here again, tafadhali join the community. We are growing fast. So welcome. Karibu sana. Uko na pande yako kwa kiti hapo kando. I'm sure you see it hapo kando. Karibuni sana. For sure. So guys, until next time. Deuces.